Councilmember Benoit,
Here.
Councilmember Mitchell,
Here.
Councilmember Cacchiotti,
Here.
Dr. Burke,
Here.
all present.
Okay, do we have any board member concerns for my colleagues? Ben, they said you wanted to talk about something?
No, I already talked with Ron about the screen share issue. We got it taken care of.
Great. Okay, how about approved travel?
Mr. Chairman, I noticed that that report includes me going to Sacramento on April 23rd, but that will not happen. They will do the meeting by Zoom in our own living room. So I won't be doing any travel.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
Report of out-of-country travel, I assume that's 0?
That is 0, Dr. Burke.
Okay. You know, I was thinking the other day, Wayne, that with the covert coronavirus, how is that going to affect our relationship with China in our port discussions?
Well, without a doubt, it is going to affect us. We've been able to have phone discussions, but frankly, the Chinese were so focused on combating the pandemic issues that they said, if you don't mind, we want to put this on hold. But I know that Sarah has been in discussions. We've been in discussions with the Chinese Consulate General's office here in Los Angeles. And we're hopeful that we can start picking that up again in the next few months.
Well, what you need to be aware of too is that there may be some political concern about having relationships with them now.
Right.
So, you definitely want to think about that.
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the May 1st board meeting?
None here.
Okay. How about I know one person to be approved on the board member compensation. I think
Yes.
that's Gideon's person, right?
Yes, that's Ross Zellen.
Okay.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Would the clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Benoit,
Aye.
Councilmember Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilmember Cacchiotti,
Yes.
Dr. Burke,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay. How about the status report on ongoing and upcoming projects for the information management?
Morning,
Oh,
Dr.
I'm always interested in hearing about this.
Good morning, Dr. Burke, members of the committee, Ron Moskowitz, Chief Information Officer. My team has spent the last few weeks procuring, configuring, and deploying nearly 400 laptops, setting up and supporting remote access to our district applications so that all staff could securely telework from home, and implementing video conferencing via Zoom for all internal and public meetings, including this one. In addition, we set up payroll for emergency sick leave and public health emergency. We created financial reports for revenue projection, daily deposit categorization, permit completion revenue impact, and delinquency trends. We also went live with our enhanced 1180 monitoring website, and my team has performed admirably during this crisis, and I could not be more proud of them. We continue to be on track with our other projects, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ron?
I'll just make a comment if I can. Ron, I think you guys have been doing an amazing job, and I was wondering what that number was for the amount of laptops deployed. I figured it was in that range, and that's an amazing amount of work you guys have done in a short amount of time, and just to continue to applaud all the hard work you guys have done. So keep it up. And I was curious and you mentioned Zoom meetings and features earlier. You guys probably have the most experience now working with Zoom as a government agency from early on in this. Have we made any contact with Zoom or tried to maybe put together a recommendation list of things we'd like to see as far as features going forward? I know something I could see is it'd be nice to have a sort of a third class of users, a public class, so that those of us that are part of the participating in the meeting can unmute ourselves or mute ourselves, but the public can't. That type of a feature. I'm sure you've got plenty more. Have we made that memo yet or sent that to them? And I know we've got so much other work on our plate, and maybe it's more of a back burner, but at some point I'd love to see you guys do that.
So absolutely, we are on top of it, almost immediately. We contacted Zoom and we've been providing feedback ever since. So,
Good.
they're obviously, they've become the #1 web conferencing system in the world right now. So they're fielding a lot of questions and making enhancements. If you've noticed, they've been updating almost daily their product, adding new features. So yeah, we're totally on it.
Great. Thank you. I figured you were. I just wanted to check in. So thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
So,
Mr.
Chair,
Chair, a question?
I just want to say how thankful I am, and we all should be, for Ron Moskowitz being on our staff now. I mean, you have just been outstanding, Ron. I mean, the improvements that we've made to our website, to our communications with our stakeholders, our constituents, is just incredible. And also a big thank you to Ben, who is so knowledgeable in this area and can help us and guide us through this process, and helping us understand what it is we need. Because, I am, an antiquarian here, and I've had to learn a lot of new tricks, but, it's been a really good experience. And thank you to both Ron and Ben for guiding us through this process.
Well, and I'm learning stuff from Ron too, like how to make these backgrounds. I've got a background now that I've made for our Regional Transportation Committee and a bunch of others. So you guys sort of started with that, and I've taken that to all my other boards and commission as well. It really does help when the board members have a background that's identifiable and a little bit easier to see. But so no, we're all learning together, and Ron, you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I need a background because I don't have the attachment that provides the background. So somebody can get that over to me and I'll try and get it set up.
Ron sent it to me and I'll make sure to get it out to you, Mayor Mitchell. But
Thank
I
you.
just want to comment to the other board members. Ron can barely fit in our doors now, so just, kind of calm it down. Calm it down.
Yeah, right. I'd like to echo Judy and Ben's comments. I'd also like to add thanks to the guy who provided the job slot that Ron filled and made it possible for him to come aboard. But my arm will not pat my own back.
Me pat your back then if you're that guy.
But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I need one that's like back scratchers. Okay.
Mr. Chair, question.
Beg your pardon?
I have a question,
Yes.
and I share your accolades for Ron. But remember a few weeks ago, and we did some Zoom meetings at the Attorney General's office, and we had to switch to something called Blue Jeans. There was a bunch of Zoom meetings at USC where people had, broken into the meeting.
Right.
How's the security system with this? And if you can just elaborate on that for a bit.
That's a really good question. And again, we identified this almost immediately. We were watching everyone else doing their Zoom meetings, and we took in their lessons learned. So we created a security document on how to perform Zoom meetings. And I'm happy to send that to the committee members and all the board members actually for them. I think we shared that already with Ben and his team. But so far, we've got things locked down pretty well. And if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer on how to do it. But the document pretty much lays everything out.
Thank you.
Michael, to answer one of those questions, when I first got to this meeting, I checked to see if I could share my screen.
Right.
And that's probably the most critical function. If you leave that on and someone comes into the room that's nefarious, they will take over the entire meeting by sharing their screen. And that's why I check whenever I go into a meeting, make sure that function is not available to me.
Okay.
It should only be available to the host or the co-host. And once you've done that, you've done 90% of the security work you need to do.
But how do we do that, Ben?
You don't need to worry about that. That's just whoever sets up the meeting.
I see.
So whoever's setting up the public meetings, as long as they lock the host ability, or make it where only the host can share their screen, that's a huge amount of security issue right there. There's other issues. I'm sure Ron's document goes into that, but I've shared that with all my other boards and commissions. And we actually had when we were taking this to my other boards and commissions, they had all heard about those issues. Oh, we don't want to use Zoom. It's horrible. It's taken over. No, it's not Zoom. It's all the different services can potentially have that risk if they're not properly set up for a public meeting. Just like a conference call is set up where everybody has to announce their name when they come in. When you get 800 people on that conference call, it doesn't work. And so it's just a matter of making sure whoever sets these calls or these Zoom meetings up does it appropriately. And we're all learning that together. And unfortunately, some institutions are not learning as fast as others. But Ron was way out ahead of all of us on that. So thank you, Ron.
Great.
Great.
I had a little different perspective on that. I heard about the Long Beach meeting and the invasion of the pornographic material that was shown there. And I brought it up with Wayne and Ron, and they said that we would have security so that wouldn't happen to us. I, in fact, was a little disappointed because I'm 80 years old. I've never seen that before. And so the thought of being able to see it was kind of interesting to me, but I'll just die without seeing that.
Dr. Burke, I just wanted to say that was totally inappropriate.
Be thankful that you don't have to see it. From what I've heard from staff that has gone through that, it's images you can't forget. So you don't want to see this stuff that people are putting up when they have that ability.
That's right. I'm too old to go for that. Okay. Moving on to items 7 through 9.
Good morning. Again, Ron Moskowitz, Chief Information Officer. This is a standard request that we do annually to authorize the purchase of on-base software subscription and support for 1 year. The district uses OnBase as its electronic document management system that supports many critical web applications, including online application filing and asbestos notification. Funds are available in the budget, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do I have a motion on that?
Move approval.
Ron,
Second.
just confirming there's no public comment on this one.
No public comment.
Would the clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Benoit,
Aye.
Mayor Mitchell. Oops,
Yes.
sorry. Councilmember Caccioli,
Yes.
Dr. Burke.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
This is Jill, if I might add,
It really has
we
to be
may
screwed up.
want to,
When they
Sorry.
mandated masks for everybody, I said, oh, we're going to be like the Lone Ranger. And my daughter reminded me that the Lone Ranger's mask was across his eyes. I can't get anything right.
Dr. Burke,
Okay.
I know
want to
that
suggest that-
Jill wanted
sorry.
to remind us that if anybody would like to participate by public, they need to press the raise your hand button under the participation participants. And if you're on the telephone, you need to press *9. And so we've been remiss in not announcing that. And having just announced it, nobody's raising their hand on this item. But we should do that at every public comment item, Dr. Burke.
Okay. What item?
So there was a motion and there was a second. I don't think there was a roll call.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, sorry.
So we're on to item 8.
Item 8, yeah.
Sujata.
Good morning, Dr. Burke and members of the committee. This item is to adopt the executive officer's fiscal year 2021 goals and priority objectives and proposed budget. We have a presentation of this, Dr. Burke, at our governing board budget workshop that's following the admin committee.
Yes, I saw it in there.
Would you like to waive it at this time?
Yes.
Thank you.
This requires a motion.
Yes.
I'll move the item.
And let's
Second.
Ron, just confirming there's no public comment on this one too.
There's no public comment.
So again, let me just make everyone aware that if you want to comment, you need to press the raise hand button or press *9 on your telephone.
I would, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, I would like to ask a question about this.
Sure.
I note that most of our revenues are from the permit fees, the various kinds of permit fees. And do we expect any sort of reduction in those as the economy is sinking? Have we done some kind of projection on what we might expect in the future?
I was going
Go
to
ahead.
say, let me take the first crack at it, Sujata, and then you can fill in all the blanks that I leave. So, Mayor, we're very aware of the impacts and we're monitoring that very closely. Sujata and our team are looking at a number of different factors. We look at the number of permits that have been processed. We're doing comparisons on a week-to-week basis from present to a year ago so we can see what the impacts are. Sujata is following the revenue on those permits. We're also looking at not only applications for permits, but we're looking at permits issued. And so right now we have seen a reduction, and I would say it varies anywhere from 20 to 40% on a weekly basis with regards to permit applications. So what we're keeping track of all of these issues. Sujata, what did I leave out?
Nothing, Wayne, just Mayor Mitchell, we did push off our annual emission reporting. So those fees were due in mid-March. And, you know, in light of COVID-19, they were pushed off another month. So we're still waiting to see on those what, you know, we will collect. We've collected majority of it, but, you know, there's still some more. And there's a few more months left in this year. So like Wayne said, we're keeping a close eye on all the revenue streams on a very, you know, daily basis.
So I'm thinking that we ought to have some kind of backup plan. If we see a 40% reduction in our permit fees, where do we go? Do we have reserves or what are we looking at?
So we have a number of different tools that are available to us, and Sujata can explain those tools, both I would say in regards to vacancy rate, as well as in what else, Sujata?
Reserves. So Mayor Mitchell, as Wayne mentioned, we anticipate some revenue, you know, deficiency, and so immediately we have taken action to freeze any hiring. So our budgeted vacancy rate is at 10%. However, we are currently at 13.6%. So with attrition, if this vacancy rate climbs, I'm thinking we're not going to be filling positions. So right there is going to be some savings. And then, of course, our reserves, the governing board's policy is to keep it at 20%. We're currently at 31%. So, you know, for this type of a downturn, I think, you know, you do dip into that reserve. Now, you know, we have heard you say in the past that we need to put some money aside for infrastructure, for the climbing, you know, unfunded liability, but we're not doing any of that in this budget because, you know, we need to keep all the cash for important things like our payroll, etc. And then also, basically, you know, I think our reserves are, they'll hold up for some time, and then we can reassess things as we see how much the impact is going to be.
I would suggest that, you know, we should maybe have this come back to the admin committee in maybe 3 months or so, and let's see where we are. Dr. Burke, what would you think about that idea? Because I think, you know, we need to kind of keep on top of what's happening with our revenues.
Absolutely. In touch with Wayne regularly on what our status is and how things are going, and she and I are holding our hands together. I think that the reason that I asked your committee earlier about possibility of funds from either the federal or state governments. The fact that one of them is going to have to recognize that if we're going to continue to function in a robust manner, which
So
I'm sorry,
having
Dr.
trouble-
Burke, I could not hear you.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Dr. Burke. There's something wrong with your mic, or can you make some adjustments, or Ron, can you help?
Yeah, it might be his internet connection because he's coming in. Can you, Dr. Burke, can you restate your comment?
if I can remember.
Can't hear you, Dr. Burke.
In touch with Wayne regularly on this matter because I've been concerned about it. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, Dr. Burke, maybe I can just summarize what I think I heard you say. Dr. Burke raised the issue of having access to some of the stimulus funding, in part to be able to address this very issue. And he agreed with what you had said, Mayor Mitchell, with regards to staying on top of this issue. And, you know, we are all over this. And, you know, from my perspective, we do provide you the quarterly reports, but, you know, we can provide you with as much information as necessary.
Dr. Burke, if you could move your phone or any other electronic devices away from your microphone, that might help.
Is that any better?
No.
It might be worth trying to turn off your video for the moment too. So that would give all the bandwidth to your audio.
Why don't you take it, Ben, since nobody can hear me?
Okay.
Dr. Burke, if you look at your screen, do you see where it says stop video on the lower left?
We can do that. We can stop his video. I'll go ahead and
Yeah,
stop it.
We're going to turn your
Wait.
video off just so we can't see you, but you can still see us.
Okay.
We'll see if that helps.
Does that help any?
No.
Not really.
It didn't really help.
Should we
Okay.
also have him not use the computer audio and call in on another phone and not use the computer audio?
Why don't you just let Ben run the meeting?
Okay. So with
So I
that,
guess
we,
The question,
item-
would be, how often should we get a report on this, Ben? I mean, should it be 3 months, or should we every month, or what is?
I
where's
think for the foreseeable future, it might need to be every month, Wayne, that we do get a report back on how we're doing and where we're tracking as we come to admin committee at least every month, just with some sort of update financially where we're at, if there's anything we need to true up. And I think
Yeah.
that'll also help the decision making at the ledge committee for how quickly we need to try and ask for support from the state, if not already.
We are already making every effort to get those funds that are going to be available. But we
Okay.
can do the monthly update. I just heard Sujata say yes.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. All right. With that, I think we did have a motion on this item already, right?
We
Yeah.
did,
Second.
but we haven't
Okay.
had a vote.
Before we take a vote, I'll ask if there's any public comment. Anyone on the phone say star or press *9, or anyone on the computer would hit raise hand on the participant list. Not seeing any hands raised. With that, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Benoit,
Aye.
Councilmember Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilmember Caccioli,
Yes.
Dr. Burke. Motion passes 4-0.
All right, that brings us to item number 9, the compensation adjustments for board member assistants. Sujata,
I think we did do this.
or you did that?
Oh, no, we didn't do this. We did Gideon's, Krakow's new person. Okay.
So thank you, Mayor Benoit. This item is to approve board member assistant and consultants compensation for fiscal year 2021. Happy to answer questions.
I'll move approval.
Second.
That's just, Ron, if you could just confirm that there's no public comment.
I don't see anyone's hands raised. If anyone needs to make a comment on this, so they could hit *9 on their phone or press the raise hand button.
No,
Not
no,
seeing
there's no
any.
public comment.
Roll call vote, please, on item 9.
Councilmember Benoit,
Aye.
Councilmember Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilmember Caccioli,
Yes.
Dr. Burke.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, that brings us to any other business from any of our other members. Anyone have anything else they want to raise at this point from our board members? Not seeing any. With that, we'll go to public comment. Do we have any public comment for items not on the agenda? Again, press *9 on the phone or click the raise hand button.
There's no public comment.
All right. That brings us to our next meeting will be May 8th for Admin Committee at 10 o'clock. So thank you, everybody. And we'll reconnect at the 11 o'clock hour, right, for the Finance Committee meeting?
12 o'clock.
Or 12 o'clock?
12
Is it
o'clock.
12?
Noon.
Noon. Sorry, I was off an hour.
Okay,
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.